Okay, so we're going to continue to think a little bit about holiness now that we know how holy a few members of our church are. So a few minutes ago, I talked about how objects in the Bible can be talked about as being holy, like limes and things that are being thrown around. Objects can be holy, and so that causes problems for us if we think holiness is all about being good, making good decisions and being right, and becoming more and more perfect to the point where you become a holy person. The picture that we have, if you remember when we had the two kids at the front here, this kind of scale of holiness of someone who's really, really unholy, the furthest from being holy at this end, and someone who's an absolute saint and really holy at this end. That's not actually really the picture that we get of holiness when we look at the Bible and what we think God thinks about holiness. The idea of holiness is it's kind of an either-or thing. You're either holy or you're not holy. There isn't this scale of progression between the two things. There isn't an idea that someone can be a little bit holier than someone else, or someone can be a little less holy than someone. Because the good news is that becoming holy, being a holy person, isn't actually up to us. And I don't know about you, but I can breathe a sigh of relief. I feel a little bit lighter. That our walk with Jesus isn't about becoming more and more perfect to one day become a holy person. And we kind of walk into a room and we're shining and we've got a halo that we have to kind of clean around our heads and shine up. It's not actually up to us. Because God is the one who is holy. And because God is holy, God is the one who can make us holy. And so we talked, didn't we, about holiness meaning that we are set apart, that we're different, that God is set apart, and we are called to be set apart. Now I wonder, if I decided that I wanted to be really unique, I wanted to be really different, would that make me holy? So, kids, I've got a question. If I decided today, which maybe I'm considering, that for the next year, I'm only going to eat chocolate yogurts. That's it, chocolate yogurts. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, midnight feast, just chocolate yogurts. Would that make me unique? Do you know anyone else who does that? Would it make me different? Do you think it would make me holy? Why not? You're now thinking I'm going to eat chocolate yogurts for the rest of my life, aren't you? Shall I try it? How far do you think I'll get? How long will it be? Okay, great. So if I decided I was going to eat chocolate yogurts, I would be unique, I'd be different, I'd probably be a little bit weird, I'd probably have some health risks, but I don't think it would make me holy in the way that we think about God's holiness. So how do we become holy? If eating only chocolate yogurts isn't going to do it for me, how do we become holy? Well, I've said that God makes us holy. It's God who makes us holy. And you might have heard the word sanctification before, which is basically just a fancy biblical way of saying that we are made holy. Now, in the New Testament, in the book of Hebrews, we're told that when we follow Jesus, when we choose to follow Jesus, we are made holy and we're sanctified by the sacrifice of Jesus. And so what it means is that whatever your week has kind of looked like, whatever your life has looked like, if you are here in this room this morning and you have become a Christian, you have become a follower of Jesus, someone who loves Jesus and wants to live according to the way that he's taught us to live, you are holy. But you are not holy because you've made loads of really good decisions. You can't be kind of proud and strut through the street and think, yeah, I'm holy. You're holy not because of anything that you've done, but because Jesus gave his life for you, for each of us. He lived that perfect life that we can never live. And because we are in him, because we follow him, that is how we can be holy. And so, I don't know whether this is something you knew when you walked in. This is exactly how you understood holiness, in which case, great. I hope you enjoyed the avocado game. If not, then maybe we need to redefine our understanding of holiness a little bit. Because it's not about trying as hard as we can to be the best person that we can. It's not up to us. But we are made holy because of what Jesus has done for us. And that doesn't mean that we should go out and kind of live whatever way that we want to live. And it has got something to do with being good. And we'll think about that again shortly. But being holy, we are made holy because of Jesus. And so we're going to have a bit of time to worship again, and then have a time of prayer. So if you would like to stand, we're going to sing Waymaker together, but we're going to sing it in Farsi. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, great. Brilliant. Let's worship together. If you'd like to take your seats. So Sue's going to come and lead us in prayer in just a minute. But before that, I just want to finish our thinking about holiness and just pick up on this idea of, okay, so if we're made holy by God because of Jesus, then how does that affect us? What does that mean for us? That's great. That's really nice. But what does it mean for us? And I think actually it ties in a little bit with that word that Helen had. I want you to imagine kids, okay? Parents, you can apply this to maybe to work or something. I want you to imagine, okay, kids, that your mom or your dad, your parent says to you one day, okay, well, you've been great. I really like you. I feel like we have a good relationship, and so I want to treat you, okay? And so today I'm going to give you the day off school, okay? You get a day off school, and the school are happy with it. It's all good. I've spoken to your teachers, even the most grumpy teachers, and they're happy with it. And more than that, I'd like to give you £20, okay? And I want you to go and do something fun today. You're liking the idea of this, aren't you? Yeah. Okay. £20, why don't you go and have some nice food, go to the cinema, go to a theme park, just enjoy yourself for the day. And if you want to, you can bring your friends with you. Bring your best friends from school. Yeah, might up it a bit, maybe 40 quid, whatever. And go and do something fun, okay? Would you then, okay, imagine this has happened, would you decide, okay, I'm going to take the money and maybe like hide it, put it under a stone or something, just get rid of it, maybe like throw it in a river or something, and I'm going to go to school anyway? Who would do that? Would you? Would you? Maybe. Okay, a second ago it was this. Okay, so maybe. I think if your parent arranged for you to have a day off school, gave you money to go and do something with your friends, and you threw away the money and went to school anyway, I don't think that's a good decision. But if you did,
That's the option. You either throw it away and go to school or don't.
Yeah, Elsie, you can't create your own story here. Okay, this is a very lax scenario to say, I think that's a little bit what being called to live in a holy way is like, okay? We're given this gift of holiness, not because of what we've done, but because of what Jesus has done. And does it have anything to do with being good? Well, it's not that by being good you become holy, but because you're holy, you're expected to live in a way that's holy. If you're given money, if you're given a gift, and your parent says to you, go and have fun, enjoy it. If we decide not to do that, and we decide what's good for ourselves, and we do our own thing, I'm not saying, going to school is a bad decision, but in this scenario, maybe it is, then that's not going to be good for us. And so living a holy life, holiness has got something to do with being good. Not because it makes us holy, but because we need to live in accordance with the gift that we've been given. And of course, that doesn't mean that then we're just going to live perfectly, never make mistakes, continue to strut through the street and shine our halo. We're going to mess up, okay? We're going to make mistakes. That doesn't mean that we don't try to live in a holy way, but it means that there is grace and forgiveness for the times we do mess up. And here's another piece of good news. We had that confession that Libby and I led you in. It's a beautiful picture of confession, because what happens is when the times that we do muck up, maybe we don't live in a holy way, we don't do the things that God calls us to. Maybe we have a bit of crazy road rage, or we stress out over making guacamole, or whatever it is. We can take that guilt, that shame, that debt that we owe God, that kind of like an IOU, the thing that kind of weighs us down. And in confession, knowing that God forgives us, we can give him that IOU. And he gives us his holiness. He gives us his grace. He gives us his righteousness. He gives us his forgiveness. And so we're called to follow Jesus, to live in a holy way. But when we don't do that, God is always there to forgive us and to care for us. And so hopefully that's helped us to think a little bit about God's holiness, about our holiness and our relationship with him. And so can I invite Sue to come up? And Sue is going to come and lead us in a time of prayer together.